Good day everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Fred. Alright, so today we are going to be looking at first angle projection and third angle projection. Alright, I told you the other time in Google Classroom that before you start drawing in orthographic, you will prepare a platform such as the one you're seeing now. Alright, so here we have the principal axis, the horizontal line and the vertical line and the horizontal line. Alright, those are the principal axes. Okay, now in first angle projection, you draw the front elevation here. For those of you that are not used to first angle and third angle projection, do not worry. As we proceed and progress in this class, you will get to understand better. All right, now in first angle projection, you draw your front elevation here on this quadrant, the plan here, and the end elevation on this side. All right, and you project your 45 degrees line here. I will tell you the function of this 45-degree line much more later. All right, now look at it. Front elevation, plan, end elevation of the object that you have been asked to what? Project. Okay, now there is another way you can draw in first angle projection. Now please take note, this is front elevation, this is the plan, this is the end elevation. Now you might be required to draw the left end elevation and the right end elevation of an object. Let me explain further. Now everything remains the same. All right, let me cover this side now. All right, so we have our front elevation, plan, front elevation, plan, end elevation. But when you are required to draw the left end elevation and the right end elevation, then you have to prepare you have to prepare something like this. All right, so your 45 degrees, do not forget, remains the same. All right, so you extend this line out, you drop a perpendicular line there, all right, here, okay, and you extend the line out and you project another 45 degrees line here. So this is where you would draw the right end elevation. Now let me explain further using an example from the Jane Green textbook. All right, now take a very close look at this example. This is an L-shaped block. All right, now whenever you are asked to draw in orthographic projection, you will notice that there is an arrow somewhere. That arrow indicates your front elevation. So take a very close look at this diagram now. You can see an arrow there. That means this is your front elevation. Take a very close look at this one as well. Front elevation and this front elevation. So back to the L-shaped block. Now this is the front elevation, okay? Now this is your standing position, all right? So when you move from this point to this other side and view, whatever you see from this side is your end elevation. Now, when you view from the top, that is your plan, but this is the mistake that most students make. Now, after moving to this point and drawing your end elevation from this point, all right, they will proceed to the top from here. That is wrong. You will have a wrong plan at the end of the day. Always learn to go back to your what? Your standing position, because this is your standing position. You stand here. You take a very close look at the object, you draw your front elevation, move down here from this point, you move down here, you view, you draw your what? End elevation, go back to this point and move up. And whatever you see, that is your plan. You draw your plan. Now, you will discover that there is an end elevation on this side. If you move to this side, you will be viewing an end elevation. And it is also possible for you to move to this other side here. That is another end elevation. Now, if you're standing here, definitely this is your left hand and this is your right hand. So if you move to your left, whatever you view here is your left end elevation. And if you move this way to your right, whatever you view from this side is your right end elevation. So that is why we have this. So when you are required to draw right end elevation and left end elevation, from here, you draw your front elevation. Front elevation is drawn here. Plan is drawn here. Now, remember this is where you're standing. This is your left hand and this is your right hand. So when you move to your left, whatever you view or whatever you're seeing from this point is your what? Left end elevation. You draw it here. Don't draw it on this side. No, it is wrong. You draw it here, left end elevation. Then go back to your standing position. Then move to the right. Whatever you see there is your what? Right end elevation. You draw it here. But in most cases, you're only required to draw the front elevation, end elevation, and plan. Okay? It is very, very rare for students to be instructed to draw right end elevation and left end elevation, but I thought I should just address that issue. All right, so let's move over to third angle projection. Now this is third angle projection. Now You will notice that from the first angle projection, if you turn it upside down like this becomes a plan, front elevation and end elevation. Your 45 degree is here. So just in case you forgot how to project in third angle, all you need to know is to what? Memorize first angle, turn it upside down, and you have a third angle projection. Okay, so this is the third angle projection. You have the plan, you have the front elevation, and you have the end elevation. Your 45 degree line is here. Now, here also we have the plan. When you are required to draw the left end elevation and the right end elevation. So we have the plan here, front elevation. We have the left end elevation, unlike the first angle projection, where you have the left end elevation on your right hand side and the right end elevation on the left hand side. Now it is the opposite for the what? For the third angle. Now the left end elevation is drawn on the left hand side, while the right end elevation is drawn where? At the right hand side. I hope that is clear. All right. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about now is your principal axis of projection. All right. So when you want to prepare this in order for you to project in orthographic, the first thing you do is that you draw this vertical line and this horizontal line, and they are perpendicular to each other. So you draw a line, a horizontal line, all right, this one, and it is usually a thick line. Then you draw a perpendicular at this point. You extend, and you have that. Okay. Now the distance from this vertical line to this border line you are seeing, you consider this border line is what? A thin line. They are thin lines rather. Okay. Now this border line here, they are thin lines. Okay. So now you now place your ruler like this. Make sure your ruler is not bent. All right. Place it like this. You measure 1 centimeter to the right. This is 1 centimeter. Then from here 1 centimeter to the left. So you indicate a dot here. You indicate a dot here. Move down. Measure 1 centimeter to the right, 1 centimeter to the left. All right. You indicate a dot. Then connect the two dots. The dot you had here and here. Connect them with a thin line. You have that. Okay. Connect these two dots with a thin line. You have that. Then you move over here. Place your ruler. You measure 1 centimeter up from the horizontal line, 1 centimeters down. Then here, 1 centimeters up, 1 centimeters down. Remember, your ruler must be straight. Okay? We don't want to have a situation like this. Be measuring 1 centimeter, that will be wrong. Or like this. So it should be what? Straight. Alright? So connect the two dots here with thin line. You have that. Thin line, you have that. Now, there is no point making use of your 45 degree set square to drop this 45 degree line here. There is no point if you drew these correctly. Okay, so if you drew these border lines correctly, all right, all you need to do is to connect the center through this point here, and that is the 45 degree line. Okay. So the first example we're going to be looking at is that of an L-shaped block, as you can see on the screen. All right. Now, please refer to your notebooks, the one I sent in PDF. All right. You will see this example there. Okay, this is an L-shaped block, and you have an arrow here telling you that this is your front elevation. When you move to this side, that from this point of view, you have the end elevation, and you go back to this standing point and move up, and you have the plan. All right. So I'm going to be explaining to you how to draw the front elevation, the end elevation, and the plan. Okay, on the platform that you have prepared. Okay, so please take a look at this. This is a model of the L-shaped block. All right. So now here you have it. Okay. So the question is, when you're standing at this point, all right, this is the front elevation, and you view, what shape would you be seeing from this X position here? Now this is the model. All right. Now this front elevation here, this is what you'll be seeing. This is the L-shaped block. Okay. Now you're standing here. All right, this is your position, and you are viewing from here. What would you be seeing? And now, when you are viewing a 3D object, in order to draw the front elevation, end elevation, and plan, you must assume that you are viewing your direction, the direction of your eyesight rather, is perpendicular to the surface you are viewing. So what I'm talking about is this: you are not going to be viewing the object like this, no, because this is your front elevation. So you are going to be viewing it like this. So take a look at this. This is your front elevation. So what are you seeing? You are seeing what? This, something like this. Right? Yes. So this is your what? Front elevation. Now, when you move from this point, remember this is your standing position, to this side, and you view, what would you be seeing? Now you'll be seeing something like this. Remember, it has to be perpendicular, because you can't be viewing it like this, because you won't be seeing this part and you won't be seeing this part. So if you view perpendicularly, this is what you'll be seeing. So you are having what? You are seeing something like this. Right? So this is what you're seeing here. Now back to your position. All right? Now move to the plan, to the top rather, and view. What would you be seeing? Now remember, if you move this way to view the the end elevation, and from the end elevation you proceed from here to the plan, this is what you'll be seeing, which is wrong. You'll be seeing something like this. This is wrong. I told you that you have to go back to the what? To your standing position. All right? So from here, when you move up, what I mean is this. This is your front elevation, okay? From here, when you move up, this is what you'll be seeing. This is the plan. All right? So you'll be seeing something like this. All right? So always learn to draw a rough sketch before you project into the main platform. All right. Now, this is the front elevation. This is the plan. This is the end elevation. Now, if we are to draw this in first angle projection, what you will have is this. So this is what you get. All right. So look at the front elevation here. You draw here. Front elevation. We are drawing in first angle projection. Do not forget. Plan. You draw the plan here. The end elevation. The plan. You draw the plan here. End elevation. You draw it here. Okay. Now you must take note of something. Now, what do you notice? You discover that all the parts in the front elevation, they connect with what? The end elevation of the plan. Now, this is the front elevation. So what are you going to do? You have to use thin lines to connect what part? Look at this object very well, okay? This is the what? The front elevation. Now, from the plan, you discover that this part is what? Corresponding with what? This part. Okay? So you have to use thin lines. This part here is corresponding to what? This part. All right? So they are connecting. So you have to use thin line to show that they are what? Connecting. Now this part here also of this L-shaped block, this part is what? Corresponding to what? To this part. It's corresponding with this part. All right? So you have to connect with what? A thin line. All right? Now from the end elevation, you discover this part, which is here. All right, from the front elevation, this part here corresponds with what? This part here. Are you seeing that? And this part here, this corresponds with what? This part. So you use thin lines to connect them. All right. So the next thing you will have to do is to dimension. All right. So dimensioning is very key in orthographic. Okay. So now there is something you must take note of while dimensioning. Now you do not repeat dimensions in orthographic. What I mean is this. For example, look at this part of this drawing. All right, this is 25 and this is 30. Right. So you don't come here and do the same thing. 25, 30. No. Instead, just dimension 60. Okay. Now you will be penalized if you repeat this here. 25, 35. Okay. So you dimension 60 here. Now take a look at this part also. This is 40 from the base to the top. 40. All right, but from the drawing, this is actually 25 and this is what? Sorry, this is 20 and this is 20. All right, so you dimension this part 20, 20. Then you are free to dimension here what? 40. Or you can dimension here 20, 20 and 40 here. So that's it. Now, if you take a very close look at this part, I didn't dimension it. Why? Because the dimension is already here. Now, this is the essence of the 45-degree line. After drawing the elevation of the plan, okay, you will connect. Like I told you, everything connects. All right. Now you will you extend this line to what? Touch the 45-degree line, and you move up. Okay. So that will form what? The end elevation. So this plan this part of this plan, okay, is corresponding with what? This part of the what? End elevation from here. Plan. These lines here, these two lines you are seeing here, this line and this line, which is this line and this line, okay, they are corresponding with what? This part and this part. So these lines are going this way. All right. So example number 2. Okay, so here we have example 2. All right, so this is the shape of God here. Okay, 50, 70, 40, 20, 40. All right, so this is the shape. All right, so this is your front elevation. All right, so when you stand here, when you view, what shape would you be seeing? Now this time around, you want to draw in third angle projection. All right, so when you view, what do you see? All right, so remember, in third angle we have our what? Our plan here, our front elevation here, and our end elevation here. So let us draw our front elevation now. So what do you have? What do you see? All right, you see something like this. This is a rough sketch. Always learn to draw your what? Your rough sketches before the main drawing. All right, so where is the end elevation? All right, we have to move to this side to view the end elevation. So when you view from this side, remember, perpendicular. This is what? The end elevation. All right, so like I told you, they will connect. So your end elevation, you connect with a thin line. This part, they will connect. They will connect. So this is your end elevation. That's what you're seeing. All right, that's your end elevation. Then go back and view your plan. So what do you see as a plan? You will discover that this is like what? A rectangle, or almost a square. All right, there's a rectangle here, and there is what? Another rectangle here. All right, and they must correspond, they must match. All right, so this is what you're seeing. So this is your plan. All right, now like I told you, they will always what? There will always be a connection. They will correspond, this part. You know, this is not properly drawn, but they will correspond if you draw it well. So this is what you have. So what you do, you now transfer to the main what? To the main drawing. Here you have it. Okay. So plan, front elevation, end elevation. Then what you do next? You dimension. Follow the same principle I told you that I gave to you. Do not repeat dimensions. Now let me quickly say this. Okay, now while drawing, you have to transfer all the lines using your ruler and your what? Your set square. Okay. For example, after preparing the principal axis and the what? Border lines. All right. Now you want to draw the front elevation. So what do? You draw it on the border line. So we have 40 here, right? So you draw 40 with thick lines. From here, you draw 40, okay? What do we have here? 60. From here, you draw what? 60, all right? Now, this part is what? 35. You don't just place your ruler like this and draw. No, you transfer this line here. You transfer the lines here to this point, and you draw a thin line first. What do? You now measure 35 on it, then draw a thick line, all right? Then what do you have here? 20. Transfer lines from here, all right, to that point. You draw, measure 20, you draw thick lines. Then what do you have here? 25. You transfer lines from here to this point. You connect 25. You also transfer lines from here to this point. So don't just place your ruler and draw if not to be wrong. Now the same thing you do here. So you just extend these lines down. Extend this line. This one is already existing, okay? Then you now measure what here? 40. You draw thick lines. This one is now you will have lesser problem with what? Dimensioning. All right. So you this is already 60. So you connect this point, then you transfer these lines from here down to this point where you had 40, then you connect, and so on and so forth. So the same thing you do here, you always transfer your lines. Have a nice day, guys.